All right, we should be live for the 2 p.m. news slot. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we're good to go. What is going on? We have a few videos to get through. We also have an update as to how the United Kingdom is involved in this war, not by an aggressive offensive position, but a defense and protecting assets. We have some information on that. We have Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
Here behind me,
Sirens right now.
Indication for people to head into bomb shelters, and the city is quite clear right now. Things
Sirens
are not open,
right now in Tel
Aviv. A few
Aviv.
people on the highway, but when they get this alert, they immediately get into bomb shelters or into safe rooms in order to have protection from shrapnel or falling debris. And as we saw last night, a very big development, the Iranians launching a ballistic missile with a cluster munition on top. And it exploded over the skies of central Israel, and we could see these munitions raining down on the population below. Officials say it was a miracle that no one was killed in that strike. But as these strikes do continue, the Israeli military and the government structure is warning the population to continue going to bomb shelters, saying this fight is not over and the war continues. Guys?
Trey, it's John here. So there's been a rather dramatic diminution of Iranian attacks against not only Israel, but other countries in the region as well. According to CENTCOM, ballistic missile strikes are down 90%. Drone strikes are down 83%. I mean, obviously, we don't want to in any way, shape, or form play down the danger facing folks there in Israel. But to your knowledge, there was obviously that missile strike that killed a number of people the other day. Has there been anything like that since?
There has been, and there have been a number of falls and impacts and shrapnel sites, but certainly the Americans and the Israelis have been successful in their ability to shoot down this incoming fire and again take down those positions, the launchers. We saw during the 12-day war last year between Israel and Iran much heavier missile barrages. They would often overwhelm air defense systems, and we could see those missiles slamming into the population behind me in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. This round, it has happened a number of times. There was a major impact in Tel Aviv that we saw at least one person killed at. Another one just outside of Jerusalem where 9 people were killed, 6 of them from the same family. But this has not been as intense as it was last summer. And this is a result of the high-level coordination between the Americans and the Israelis. We talked about this before, but they are preparing not just offensively, but also defensively. Guys?
Trey, that is just incredible. So the sirens just happening a few moments ago. You did hear an explosion. We're looking for any sort of reports of where that might have happened, and if there was an impact noted anywhere. I don't know if you've got anything popping up in front of you, but we haven't seen anything exactly as far as location yet.
Yeah, we're trying to get an understanding right now. My producers are working on figuring out where exactly this came from and if the interception was successful or not. What the Israelis have also been dealing with is a joint attack from the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and the Iranians. Over the past 48 hours, we've seen 3 or 4 attempts to overwhelm Israel's air defense systems. And you have Hezbollah from the north launching rockets over the border, sometimes targeting Tel Aviv, and then Iran from the east launching missiles at the exact same time. And again, this is an effort to try to slip past air defense systems. But as this is happening, the Israelis are striking deep into the heart of Beirut in the Dakhla neighborhood to try to break apart the Hezbollah structure and ensure that they're not getting new threats of rocket and missile fire.
All right, Trey Yingst for us in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey, thank you. We're going to take a quick break.
All right, there you have it. There were sirens in Tel Aviv, but that has ended. We have this update here from Matt Morse.
Yeah, of course. Do you want me to quickly break down how the United Kingdom is involved? So there's a little island, kind of a larger island over here. It's called Cyprus. Cyprus has a Royal Air Force base. It's an air base right here on the southern tip, right around here. And anyway, this is probably 4 days ago now. We saw an Iranian suicide drone launched from Hezbollah in Lebanon, flew across the water here in the Eastern Mediterranean and actually blew up. It crash landed and blew up, did some damage at the Royal Air Force base. Now, since then, the Royal Air Force, the Brits, they've been redeploying or deploying some additional assets to the region, to Cyprus, to protect their air base. We've seen Royal Air Force aircraft, namely drones and some Typhoon fighter jets, sort of patrolling the waters over here and also intercepting missiles over the Kingdom of Jordan. So the Royal Air Force, they've been patrolling the skies of Jordan and also the waters in between Lebanon and Cyprus. So yeah, they are in the region. They're in the region and they are actively, in fact, we got the report about 2.5 days ago, the Royal Air Force actually blasted down, they actually successfully shot down their first Iranian suicide drone over the skies of Jordan, I believe. So they are down there. Really, right now, they are more in a defensive posture, sort of protecting their own regional assets as opposed to going on offense. But they've been, in fact, you know what? In fact, I can probably show you something here. I bet we can see some action. You want to see something kind of cool? I need to, man, this is getting, there we go. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Okay. We're going to quickly pull up flight radar because I bet, not positive. Well, I'll be darned. Flight radar is a little bit slow. Okay, what do you see right here? What's that little thing flying? That little yellow dot flying in the water, above the water. Well, is this live? Ah, there it is. Well, okay, yeah, there we go. We're totally updated now. What do we see there? Well, look at that. This is a General Atomics MQ-9B Protector RG-MK-1 aircraft. It's a drone from the Royal Air Force of the United Kingdom. What is it doing? It's just flying in circles out there. It's flying in circles out there. What does this thing look like? And it's been up there for hours. If you want to know what this looks like, this is a drone from the Royal Air Force. Pull this up. And, you know, there's probably an appropriate image right there. The Royal Air Force with the British flag in the back. So this drone is up there just hovering, loitering, looking to shoot down any incoming Iranian drones. This is drone-on-drone combat. They have maintained pretty much a 24/7 drone presence just like this up there in the sky that we can see publicly for days now, following that drone attack that successfully landed at the Royal Air Force Base. Man, Flight Radar is such a laggy website. It really lags out my computer. I apologize for that, folks. I need to clean up this mess I made. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be here all day. So, hey, thank you very much for tuning in. We are breaking down the entire situation. At least, hey, that's what we're trying to do. It might not be prudent to talk about China. That said, if more people understood that this really is predominantly about China, I think they would be able to get behind this at a higher rate. Matt, stop guessing. First off, I'm not guessing. Second off, it's my show. Listen, what is the point of tuning into the Matt Morris Show if you don't want to hear what Matt Morris has to say on his own show? Why do you think that you can tell me what I get to say on my own broadcast? That's a little bit weird. Kind of the entire point of the show is that it's my show, right? And of course, we're like literally not even guessing. We know this to be the case. This is not a guess.
All right, well, that's going on. We got this video right here.
The U.S. and Israel now moving to phase 2 of Operation Epic Fury, shifting the focus to eliminating Iran's missile program.
So this comes as the Israeli military begins another broad wave of attacks as they fight a two-front war against Iran and Hezbollah.
I kind of feel they're welcoming the opportunity to fight Hezbollah. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest on a new attack on Ayatollah Khomeini's underground bunker in Tehran. Trey.
Yeah, Brian, good morning. We're learning that the Israelis last night launched a new wave of strikes against the Iranian capital of Tehran, using around 50 fighter jets and 100 munitions to strike a bunker that Iran's former supreme leader had planned to use. You can see in some of this video some extensive explosions taking place there in the Iranian capital. We understand that he was above ground, actually, when he was killed over the weekend. Now, today, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is holding different security assessments with top officials here as this war continues, approaching 1 week. The Israelis are still taking a variety of incoming fire with cluster munition and ballistic missiles soaring through the skies of this country overnight. As that meeting was taking place, there were more sirens sounding, and last night you can see some of these missiles that were flying through the air of Tel Aviv. Many of them overshot their targets and landed in the Mediterranean Sea. The Israelis going after some of these launching positions last night, striking 6 different ballistic missile launchers. And today, Israel's Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, is making new statements about the war.
I am in continuous contact with my American counterparts, including the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States, General Dan Kane, and the Commander of CENTCOM, Admiral Brad Cooper. We are fighting based on shared interests and values. In this war, shoulder to shoulder, they are true friends. Through coordinated action, we are stripping the regime of its military capabilities and bringing it to strategic isolation and a point of weakness in which it has never been before.
The Israelis are looking east, but they're also looking north as the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah launches new attacks over the border. They've been striking the southern Dahya neighborhood in Beirut quite heavily, with new strikes even in the last hour. This was the 26th round of strikes that they have launched against this Iranian proxy in Lebanon. There are many civilians that have evacuated the southern Dahya neighborhood, and one of them is speaking out about what they heard.
They threatened the Daya area, so we packed our things and left. Everyone left Daya. Now we're living a tragic life here, displaced. It's a miserable life. You know what it's like.
We expect these strikes to continue against Hezbollah as the group is threatening to launch strikes deeper into Israel. Yesterday, there were multiple times where the Iranians and Hezbollah launched joint attacks against this country. Brian?
So, Trey, is there a sense, I mean, the Israelis have to take care of Hezbollah, and when they started this fight, that was the opportunity. But is there a sense that the Iran war effort is paying a price for the Hezbollah focus? Are Israel taking assets away from the Iran fight to do this in Lebanon?
There's such a high level of coordination. There were plans in place for this very scenario. And so the Israelis so far don't appear overwhelmed with their Air Force capability. They can fight on multiple fronts at the same time, as we've seen in the past. But we do know there is significant coordination even on the ground. A source earlier this week told me that in Northern Command in Israel, there's actually an American office. And so there are U.S. representatives on the ground, again, to help the Israelis with this targeting campaign against Hezbollah.
Hey, Trey, will you tell us more about that bunker? Was anyone killed, the bunker where the Ayatollah was planning on hiding?
So Fox News is getting some new exclusive information about the strikes overnight and about this specific bunker. A senior Israeli official telling Fox News that at the time of the strike, when Operation Epic Fury began, when the Ayatollah Khamenei was actually killed, he was above ground. He did not go into this bunker. And that is why the Israelis were able to kill him, in part because he didn't think that he was going to be targeted. And there was a deception campaign, I am told by a senior Israeli official, to make the Iranians think that this attack wasn't even going to begin. Despite the fact that there were planes in the air, the inner circle of the Ayatollah didn't think to get him underground. And part of this deception campaign was coordinated directly at the highest levels between the Americans and the Israelis, I'm told. One official says that the top commanders here in Israel that normally would be at the Kiryat, Israel's version of the Pentagon, went home for Shabbat dinner with their families. And there were a number of posts that were made and statements by President Trump in the 24 hours.
So we got an update here. Hold on. Looks like we have a new face of the Iranian regime now.
Reza Pahlavi, he has come out and said that he has accepted the role as Iran's transitional leader. This is a statement hot off the press. We're going to listen to this right now while we have a moment.
The Islamic Republic has launched missiles at the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Jordan, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. It is targeting our Arab neighbors. These violations of their sovereignty are unacceptable, and we condemn them. But this is nothing new. This is who the Islamic Republic has always been, and this is why it must end. For nearly 5 decades, this terrorist regime has sown chaos and bloodshed across our region. It propped up Assad, turning Syria into a graveyard. It planted Hezbollah as a state within a state in Lebanon. It armed the Houthis to destabilize the Arabian Peninsula. It empowered militias in Iraq to undermine Iraqi sovereignty. It attacked the economic hubs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. None of this has ever been the desire of the Iranian people, but rather that of a regime occupying our country. Now, however, the landscape has fundamentally shifted. Assad is gone. Hezbollah has been decimated. The regime's military nuclear program has been set back. Its economy is in a free fall. The pillars of this regime's aggression are crumbling. The Iranian people have paid the price in blood to reach this moment. The regime massacred tens of thousands of my compatriots in just 2 days, but it didn't break the people. Instead, the regime itself is breaking. Today, history reminds us of our future potential. Before the revolution, Iran worked closely with Arab leaders, from King Faisal to Sheikh Zayed to King Hussein to President Sadat. In Oman, my father helped Sultan Qaboos defend his country against insurgency. We were true partners then. We will be true partners again. The Iranian people have called on me to lead the transition after the regime is gone. I have accepted that responsibility. Part of their great mandate to me is to return our nation and our foreign relations to normalcy. I will do exactly that. My commitment is to ensure the transition is...
All right, while that's going on, we'll get back to it. We have this right here.
Friday afternoon. Welcome to a second hour of America Reports. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. John, good to be with you.
And you as well, Sandra, as we head into another 60 minutes jam-packed with news. I'm John Roberts from Washington. As we look live at Beirut, where it's nighttime now, here's some of the latest headlines. President Trump is ruling out negotiations as he seeks an unconditional surrender from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. This as we learn that at least 3 American MQ-9 Reaper drones were shot down in the Middle East. Ukraine specialists are supporting U.S. bases as Iranian drones are intercepted in the Gulf.
And the president is expected to meet with his national security team 2:30 p.m. Eastern time for an update on the operations. We spoke with the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt in our last hour, and she said this about the U.S. taking out the Iranian regime.
The United States military has impressively established dominance and air superiority over the skies of Iran. We have sunk and destroyed more than 30 of their Navy ships. And of course, the goals of this operation have been laid out and very clear. Completely annihilate Iran's Navy, which again, we are well on our way to doing.
Okay, so let's get straight to our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's live in Washington with the very latest on Operation Epic Fury. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Sandra. Admiral Brad Cooper said the number of Iranian ballistic missiles fired in the first 24 hours is down 90%, but Iran has a near limitless supply of Iranian Shahid drones, which are being targeted by cheap American $10,000 weapons, according to Brad Cooper. Separately, American Lucas one-way attack drones that have been reverse engineered by the U.S. military from Iranian-Russian drones found on the battlefield in Ukraine are now hitting fixed targets in Iran.
This was an original Iranian drone design. We captured it, pulled the guts out, sent it back to America, put a little Made America on it, brought it back here, and we're shooting it at the Iranians.
The U.S. has lost at least 3 MQ-9 Reaper drones over Iran, but much more significant are the direct hits to sensitive U.S. and allied radar installations across the Gulf. Videos from the first days of the strike show a satellite communications hub in Bahrain and Qatar taking direct hits. Fox News has confirmed that Russia is quietly providing intelligence to Iran to help with the targeting. This was first reported by the Washington Post. Russia's goal to prolong the conflict and drain valuable U.S. munitions, much like the U.S. has done by providing targeting intelligence to Ukraine after Russia's invasion. At CENTCOM headquarters yesterday, Admiral Brad Cooper said the U.S. had struck an Iranian drone carrier roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. It was still on fire as the press briefing began.
Our strikes against the Iranian Navy have intensified. You may have heard the president say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships.
Meanwhile, satellite imagery and verified videos show the girls' elementary school hit in Minab, Iran on Saturday was likely hit by U.S. precision munitions, along with 6 buildings at the neighboring Iranian naval base. Satellite images from 2013 showed the school inside the IRGC naval base perimeter, but images from 3 years later clearly show it outside the base. 180 school children were at the school at the time of the strike. More than 130 were killed. The Pentagon is still investigating. Of note, Planet Labs, the leading provider of high-resolution satellite images to the public, has decided to place a 96 hours hold on any images taken over the Gulf states so as not to provide any easy battle damage assessments to the Iranians. Sandra?
All right, Jennifer Griffin with that update live out of Washington for us. Thank you. John?
Sandra, the United States taking a page from Ukraine's playbook and deploying lasers in Operation Epic Fury in order to help stop Iranian drones. Brian Yennis, live in London with that part of the story for us. Brian.
John, good afternoon. Well, the Odin laser system is deployed on several destroyers in Operation Epic Fury. Now, it's an infrared drone it's an infrared laser, I should say, that fires and blinds drones by interfering with the drone's optical and infrared sensors, causing them to crash. This is a last...
Dude, the technology now is so crazy. We are on a whole new playing field when it comes to warfare and what is being done. They weren't talking about drone aircraft carriers 10 years ago and shit like that, and now using laser technology to take them out, and we're on a whole new just realm of warfare at this point. Old tactics still being used all the time. We see trenches being built in Ukraine constantly and all of that, but in terms of the weaponry, it just gets crazier. Dude, we're on like Star Wars shit now. They're using lasers.
Ditch defense weapon on Navy ships, and we're told it hasn't been used yet in Epic Fury. The U.S. has used the Growler aircraft to jam electronic signals, causing dozens of Iranian drones to fall out of the sky, and is using advanced precision laser-guided rockets to shoot down drones from the air, ground, or sea. Now, as the saying goes, the best defense is a good offense. The U.S. did sink that Iranian drone carrier, and they've even successfully reverse-engineered Iranian drones, turned them into U.S. drones called the Lucas to hit fixed Iranian targets. Now, Iranians are relying heavily on their $35,000 Shahed drones, launching more than 2,000 drone attacks against neighboring Gulf states. Operation Epic...
Okay, that is some crazy footage. I have not seen that before.
Fury's...
That must have been their main building. That is probably no longer, if I had to assume.
Multi-layer drone defense strategy now includes options that cost pennies to the dollar compared to the high-cost $4 million Patriot missiles and the $15 million THAAD interceptors that the region once solely depended on. Meanwhile, Ukraine has agreed to help the Gulf Arab states in drone defense. Ukraine's used low-cost drone interceptors like the Octopus. It's a British and Ukrainian-developed AI-powered drone that hunts down other drones. And this is an ad for the Sting. It's a $2,500 Ukrainian-made quadcopter that's been downing swarms of Iranian drones fired by the Russians in Ukraine.
So I'd say 4 to 5 days a week, there's a very large strike of anywhere around 250 to 350, maybe a max of 400 drones in a day. So they're seeing what we're seeing, our worst days that we had, 2 or 3 days ago. They see that 3 to 4 days a week, every week for, say, 2 years.
CENTCOM says Iran has shot drones in seven drones, I should say, in residential areas in Bahrain.
All right, so we're looking over the Beirut skyline.
Is orderly, the country is stabilized, and Iranians determine their future through the ballot box. We will not repeat the mistakes of past transitions. We will avoid de-Baathification scenarios and maintain as many bureaucrats and public servants in transition as possible. Iranians have made their choice at an enormous price. Now I ask our friends in the Arab world to join us, to prepare to recognize and engage our transitional government.
So the idea
we will rebuild our nation not for expansion, but to serve the Iranian people. We will base our diplomatic relations not on exportation of ideology, but on mutual respect and shared interest. We will reintegrate into the regional and global economy to increase prosperity for the citizens of all of our nations. Standing with the Iranian people is not charity. It is a strategic investment in making our region one of the most stable, secure, and prosperous in the world. Together, we can build a Middle East our children will be proud to inherit. Take this new path with us.
So there is a statement from exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi saying he is now officially accepting a role as Iran's transitional leader.
So there you have it. They have their transitional leader once the regime is knocked out. Let's go to the live.
Ukrainians who have been at war with Russia now for 4 years. So would it be shocking or surprising if Russia is giving intelligence, imagery, whatever else to the Iranians as they are at war with us? No, that's like the least surprising thing of all time, right? That's the way that it goes, I suppose. That's the way that it goes, I suppose. Also, we know that China's been doing it. We know for a fact China's been doing it. Not exactly surprising. But she makes it sound right there that we actually don't have a firm confirmation. You got the media reporting something, but the Trump administration has not confirmed that. Now, a big super chat from WPE Noctua. He said, by the way, thank you very much. Thank you. He says, it's U.S. perspective, absolutely understandable. Don't be offended if our Europe perspective isn't talked about. We do this way in Europe too, and we don't have the American perspective. No reason for arguments. Keep it up, Matt. Great reports. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. CHF. What do you check? Where are you from? No, look at this. He's Swiss. He is Swiss. You know, I'm gonna tell you something here. I think you'll like this. My wife is.
Okay, moving on. Moving on from the Swiss cheese, we got this video here.
So the IDF releasing new video showing strikes overnight that targeted the Ayatollah's underground bunker he never got the chance to camp out in, the same place where he was located and killed over the weekend. But Fox News is told he was not inside it. It comes as President Trump says he wants to personally be involved in picking Iran's next leader, arguing it can't be someone who will continue the former Ayatollah's hardline policies, like his son. He also sent this message to members of the IRGC. Listen.
I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military, and the police to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that.
So let's bring in former National Security Advisor, Senior Director under President George W. Bush, Michael Allen. Michael, first in response to what the president just said. He said, guys, I'll give you asylum. don't fight anymore.
Right.
Should we provide more of a procedure how to do it?
Yeah.
Like where to go, how to identify. You know, we're telling people how to get to the State Department. Should we tell them how to get in touch with us?
Of course. I mean, you see CIA all the time advertises literally for agents inside of Iran or inside of China to get in touch with us secretly. We should be doing the same thing for members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps or anybody who's ready to break with the regime. We need that intel. We need volunteers, and that might be the most reliable way to get it.
So far, we're just 5-6 days into this campaign. You were with the Bush administration. You knew what Iran was up to. You knew the challenge of that nuclear program and the ugly terrorist activities that they were up to. Your thoughts about where this campaign is right now and the need to do it?
Well, the need to do it is very, very strong. The Iranians were going to be able to hold hostage the region with ballistic missiles. They had as many as 2,000 to 3,000. By the way, Israel had to do it for their own defense doctrine, their own protection, if you will. So that was a big part of it. And we need to destroy the vestiges of the nuclear program. It was obliterated, but they've worked on new things. And we need to give, just as the president said, we need to give the people an opportunity to come back out on the streets. And so that's what the president has given them. And that's why he was wise to offer asylum and ask for them to disarm.
So here is Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, yesterday on the role of Iran's leader in this operation.
The president said earlier today in an interview that he would like to have a say in who's the next leader of Iran. Is this an expansion of your military objective?
Well, there's no expansion. Ultimately, I think the president's having a heck of a say in who runs Iran, given the ongoing operation we have. So there's no expansion in our objectives. We know exactly what we're trying to achieve. America's reach is global. Our focus here, though, these missions are narrow, they're scoped.
So the president took out 40 of their leaders, 9 more, and then just blew up the panel of experts who was going to pick their next leader. So let's go to the big board and see some of these names that you might recognize and tell me who you think the president might be able to work with, if any. So you got Khomeini's grandson, and you got Hamani's son that the president says unacceptable. What else can you tell us about that panel?
Yeah, it's a group of hardliners, and I'm not so sure that any of them will work with us. I know that the CIA and the Mossad must have detailed profiles on each. But look, the son of this late supreme leader is another, the new boss, same as the old boss, very tough guy. And most of these are hardcore regime clerics. And so I think I think we're going to have trouble working with any of them.
Mike, how when the insurgency happened in Iraq, it originally was the Baathists, Saddam Hussein's loyalists. And then what happened after? What did Iran do in those years after with the insurgency?
Well, they wanted to exploit the fact that the Shia were no longer repressed in Iraq, and they wanted to make the United States pay for the invasion.
And they killed over 600 of our guys.
Oh, yeah, with IEDs, the improvised explosive devices, and killed so many of our people. So this isn't about revenge per se, but they deserve what they're getting.
This is part of the ledger on why they have to be stopped. Mike Allen, look forward to talking to you on this historic campaign.
And there you have it. They're probably not going to be able to work with any of them, and that's the realistic truth.
I kid you not. She was playing Horde, and I was playing Alliance, and we met each other. And I said, listen, sweetheart, you got to play Alliance. You got to come and play Alliance. I'm not going to date somebody that's playing the Horde. Anyway, no, we met playing World of Warcraft, and now we've been married for 5.5 years. So far, so good. No complaints. So far, so good. Now, I have some more updates here I want to share, but first I want to get through a couple super chats real quick. Real quick. We have a massive super chat from Lair Leitner. Says, this is from Abby Leitner. She loves your show. Thank you. Thank you, Lair Leitner, and also thank you, Abby Leitner. Lair and Abby Leitner. Maybe Abby likes the show a little bit more than Lair, but that's okay. That's fine. It's neither here nor there. I forgive you, Lair, even if Abby likes the show a little bit more. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I remember you from the last show also. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's a big one. The CMY says, breaking news, Iran appoints Kim Jong-un as the new supreme leader. You know, Kim Jong-un is like sitting here watching all of this unfold. In fact, maybe Kim Jong-un is tuning into this very broadcast. Kim Jong-un, if you're tuning in, hello, nice to meet you. Hello. You know he's sitting here watching all of this unfold, and he's like, all right, yeah, I am not gonna fafo. All right, listen, hey, what we want to do is be friendly with Trump and the American military. We do not want to F around here because he does not want the Maduro treatment or the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei treatment. He's like, I'm gonna be on my best behavior. I'm gonna relax, gonna chill out. Don't want to cause any problems. I'm not gonna issue any death threats or fatwas. So I'm gonna be a good boy. I just want to be a good boy. You know. Little Rocket Man. He's on his best behavior right now. Another super chat from the Gaming Murph. He says, Russia and China both actually have very competent intelligence agencies. I love that even with good intelligence, the goat gropers and the IRGC can't figure out how to use it. The goat gropers. No, Russia and China, they both do.
Explosion in Beirut.
They both have very high risk.
This is the latest escalation in fighting in the Middle East, and it comes amid surging attacks hitting Iran, battering hundreds of new targets overnight, and CENTCOM releasing new video of U.S. strikes, including on an Iranian drone carrier ship. President Trump now warning Iranian forces there will be no deal except with unconditional surrender. So that's something else to think about. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Bill Hemmer is off today.
Yeah, interesting language from the president. Unconditional surrender is something that we think about when we think about World War II and Japan. And it seems the president is, very focused on a complete capitulation from Iran before anything will change in this situation. Hi, I'm Martha McCallum. Good to have you. Good to be with you guys, and good to be with you as always, Dana. So the United States and Israel now heading into a new phase of this fight, targeting Iran's heavily fortified underground bunkers that are filled with missiles and drones. Meanwhile, Israeli warplanes pounding Hezbollah, turned Beirut, launching a new wave of attacks against the terrorist-backed group by Iran.
And new overnight, dozens of IDF jets obliterating the underground complex used by Iran's supreme leader before he was killed last weekend.
Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo earlier calling air superiority very critical to victory here.
It's hard to imagine how militarily this could have gone better. You can see the evidence of that. The number of drone swarms and the number of ballistic missiles being fired is massively decreased even than day one or day two. I think Iran in some ways has taken its best kinetic shot with those tools, and I'm very confident now that the United States and Israel have air superiority in its entirety across the entire nation. They'll continue those strikes.
As the fighting expands into neighboring countries, Chief International Correspondent Steve Harrigan, he is in Armenia. That's Iran's northern border. And what do you hear today?
Dana, you could see smoke rising from different parts of Tehran after strikes overnight, gray and black plumes rising up. Many residents of Tehran saying this was the worst night yet as far as just the sounds of the attacks. Iran TV saying that the presidential palace was one of the key targets, and U.S. military officials saying Iran's military capabilities have been significantly degraded.
If I just look back over the last 24 hours of the operation compared to where we were at its start, ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one. Having said this, we remain vigilant.
And one of the key targets was the underground bunker complex where the slain former supreme leader of Iran was killed. It was absolutely pounded by more than 50 Israeli jets overnight. Apparently, many of the Iran's leadership was still working in that underground bunker. And here in the Caucasus, already concerns widespread that the war has already begun to spill over into this highly volatile region. The country of Azerbaijan, just off Iran's northern border, has evacuated its embassy in Iran. This after
it's going everywhere now. This might be a lot longer than just 10 days. It depends, though. They need to put a stop on this quickly. Every neighboring country now has been attacked.
We got that news a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. This emerged amid Xi Jinping's ongoing anti-corruption purges in the military. China's defense ministry announced the investigation into Zhang for, quote, serious violations of discipline and law. The leak allegations were described as particularly shocking, with some reports linking them to testimony or investigations involving figures like Gu Jun, former head of the Chinese National Nuclear Corporation. So this is a report coming from the Wall Street Journal. Of course, the CIA or Trump, Trump didn't come out and say, yeah, we got him. Yeah, we got him. We don't have an official U.S. government confirmation. But anyway, if this is true, that's like the shakeup of a lifetime. What that would mean is that we infiltrated the CCP and we bought off or bribed or whatever one of the top Chinese military officials and had him giving us secret, classified Chinese nuclear information. Matt, 12th Imamers want the end times, everyone dead. Yeah. That is true. The religious leadership of Iran is effectively an Islamic death cult. That is true. Now, this is one of the debates or one of the conversations ongoing right now. I'm sure you have some group or cabal within the Iranian leadership structure that really does believe in all of that. They are 12ers. They are Shia 12ers. They really believe in the end times doomsday prophecy. They want the hidden imam, the 12th imam, who goes by the name of the Mahdi, I think is what they call him, the Mahdi. They really believe he's going to come back and usher in the doomsday, the end times, and he's going to smite all of the enemies of Islam. I'm sure some of them really believe that, but how many of them? How many of them? How many? Let's put this into scope here. Okay, there's 200,000 members or so of the IRGC, the party diehard loyalists. 200,000 diehard party IRGC loyalists. How many of them believe in all of this? How many of them would be willing to die because they believe or lay down their life because they really zealously believe in that prophecy? Is it all 200,000, or is it maybe like only 20,000 of them that are diehard in that belief? I don't know. But it kind of matters. It has a big impact on this, right? It has a big impact. Not the Muad'Dib, not Paul Atreides. The Mahdi. By the way, though, Frank Herbert, the author of the Dune books, he was super, you can tell, super heavily inspired by Islam. When he was writing the Dune novels, there's like so many of them, Frank Herbert took a lot of inspiration from Islam and this Shia Islam, specifically Shia Islam doomsday prophecy. The Dune books are very like Islamic coded, as you might have noticed. That's right. Nice suit, Matt. You look like a professional newscaster now. Are you wearing pants? You want to find out? You want to roll the dice? You want to find out? I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing pants. Much to everyone's relief today, I am wearing pants. Some days I do, some days I don't. You got lucky today. You got lucky. There's some aircraft that looks like a helicopter or a plane, I'm not sure, off in the distance there, flying along the skyline. In Israel, folks, it has been about 44 minutes since we have had any red alerts. No red alerts for 44 minutes. We have a super chat here from this is
It feels like it's gonna be a very quiet day. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that signals that this is slowly coming to an end. I don't know. But a lot of the bombing in Beirut happened last night and all day yesterday. A lot of the Israel alerts are slowing down, and as we continue to hear, their military might, dominance, and power in Iran has pretty much crumbled. It's, we're essentially just waiting for the final word of they are done, the war is over, or they do something just crazy, and because they're backed up to a wall, they have no other options. Who knows what they're hiding in those tunnels, if they still have them constructed at this point, because they have been bunker bustering all of them. There's nothing left of their leadership. They're struggling to find leadership. They don't even know who's alive. They don't even know who's still alive in terms of their council, their government, their regime leadership. It's a mess. So this very well could be the final day. Not the final day, but we could be entering the final days.
Okay, so let's check in those oil prices right now, just above $90 a barrel, up another almost $10 on the day. But they are at 2-year highs now in the wake of Operation Epic Fury. Part of the problem is the shipping companies are afraid of passing through one of the world's most critical routes, the Strait of Hormuz. You're looking.
We lost the feed.
Here at the traffic coming through a near halt. This was happening by Sunday. I know Larry's got an update on this for us. Let's bring in the host of Kudlow on Fox Business, Larry Kudlow. I mean, that is the critical area there, and that is apparently what is leading to the spike in global energy prices.
Your report is spot on. There's about 120 oil tankers waiting to come through. Now, Fox Business Digital has just reported today or the last couple days, 8 ships have gone through the strait, but only one was an oil tanker. Now, the big news, I mean, first of all, this is not about oil. We are oversupplied with oil throughout the world.
So why are they up so much?
It's all about the risk premium for Iran. And Iran saber rattles, and they always do it. And frankly, their navy is on the floor of the Persian Gulf. And they probably have a few motorboats that might have a gun on it. So I think it's all BS. But whatever I think, the risk is so high, everybody's backed up. So the risk insurance is going to be placed on. We're going to help out the United States.
And this is what President Trump just announced moments ago is happening.
The president mentioned it a couple days ago, as you told me, but Scott Bessent and Ben Black put this out. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, it's the old OPIC, okay? They're coming in, I'll read directly on this, let's see. They will insure losses up to approximately $20 billion on a rolling basis. This revolving insurance offering will apply only to vessels that meet certain criteria. Good. Insurance will focus on hull and machinery and cargo to start. Okay. DFC has identified best-in-class preferred American insurance partners. DFC and Treasury are coordinating closely with CENTCOM on the next steps. Read Navy. Here's my point. The world is awash with oil, as you suggested. This is about an Iranian risk premium, which is mostly bluster, but whatever. You have to worry about such things. So the way to unlock this whole story and bring all prices down is to get this insurance, okay, get this out fast, get the U.S. Navy, the great U.S. Navy, I'm talking about best in class, put it at the top of the strait, put it at the bottom of the strait, and have ships going through to accompany oil tankers. You do that, and you're going to see these prices come down. Because, look, there is so much oil, Sandra. Look, we here, the United States alone is producing 13.6 million barrels a day. 13.6 million. Now, we are producing 24 million, listen to this, 24 million barrels per day in oils and liquid fuels. He used to be a commodity trader. More than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined.
We're producing more than we can use, but the point is about 20% of global consumption is traveling through.
I got one more. Russia, we are producing almost as much natural gas as Russia, Iran, and Communist China combined.
As we should be.
110 billion cubic feet per day. The world is oversupplied with oil. Once these risk premiums come down, all right, and if the Navy has to guarantee it also, that's wonderful because the Iranian Navy is gone, basically. But
this guy's losing it. He's got so much emphasis.
It'll prove once and more. The U.S. Navy can play a huge role in this, and I think that's coming. You will see these prices gradually make their way back down. And once this war is over, and it is not going to take a long, long time, it's going to go back to $60 a barrel, $55 a barrel.
Well, while you're here, can we...
Well, you can only hope it goes back down. We got some news here that Azerbaijan could be striking Iran.
We have an update here, folks, I want to share with you because this really is one of the biggest stories of the day. According to Israeli news reports, Israel assesses that Azerbaijan is going to strike Iran and or join in the wider coalition against Iran as retaliation for Iranian strikes inside Azerbaijan yesterday. To date, Azerbaijan's relationship with Turkey and more importantly Israel has strained their relationship with their neighbor Iran, as Iran has close ties to Russia and Armenia, nations that Azerbaijan increasingly finds itself at odds with. We talked about this earlier, ladies and gentlemen. I would suppose this is, once again, my speculation. I would speculate, where in the world are we? We're going to Azerbaijan. I would speculate that right now, the White House or the Pentagon is having conversations with Azerbaijan saying, hey, listen, if you get involved, if you help us out, if you join our coalition against Iran, once all of this is said and done, some of this northern territory in northern Iran can be yours. Because we know that there are millions, tens of millions, in fact, somewhere between 20 and 25 million ethnic Azerbaijanis live in Iranian territory in northern Iran, just south of the actual country of Azerbaijan. So in this territory, I would speculate that there are conversations right now. Azerbaijan, if you get involved and you help us out against Iran, maybe some of this Iranian territory can end up being yours. You've already got a bunch of people living there. Would not be surprised. And I would suspect a similar deal is being made with the Kurds as well. That some of this Iranian territory over here might end up becoming Kurdistan. Because the Kurds, they don't even have their own country right now. They're squatting in between 3 or 4 different countries. That would not surprise me at all. And you know what? Like, whatever. Am I going to complain about that? No. I'm not going to complain about that. That area is more than sand. Oh yeah, I mean, here, you want to drop in. Why don't we take a look at, let's pick a random town, Ahar. What's it look like here in Ahar? There's probably, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people living here. What's it look like? This is downtown. So they've got, you know, I don't know if I would say it's beautiful, but they've got a little urban center here. That's one spot downtown. But then also they have fertile farmland. So it's not just an arid wasteland, you know. It's not just hell on earth. It could be that the Iranians announce it. But it could also be that they can't fight any longer because they don't have anyone or anything to fight with. So earlier today, 4 or 5 hours ago now, Trump said, I am demanding unconditional surrender. How does this end, Mr. President Trump? How does this thing come to an end? Well, I'll tell you how. Unconditional surrender. No conditions. Total surrender. So Axios then followed up just now What does that mean? President Trump, what does unconditional surrender look like? Trump says unconditional surrender could be that the Iranians announce it publicly, they proclaim it, we surrender unconditionally. Or it could also be that they just can't fight anymore. They don't have the people or the hardware, the equipment to fight. So there's different types of unconditional surrender, I suppose. Thank you, Axios, I guess, for...
It's only a matter of time, I think, at this point. Iran most likely has a handful of weapons left that they can use, and they just don't have the personnel to push them out there. And if they do, they're probably terrified. They don't even want to leave their posts or their bunkers. It really just, this might be the last day. It really feels that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hopeful, having a positive outcome here that this ends quickly, but there's just nothing happening today. They've kind of shot off their final rockets wherever, and that's going to be it. I could be completely wrong, though. They could be preparing for another wave. They could be waiting for leadership to give orders. They could be doing anything.
Massive U.S. possibly by F-22 Raptors over the Persian Gulf. Over the Persian Gulf. So the Stratotankers were coming home as of about an hour ago. The bombing run, what does that mean? That means the bombing runs continue. Bombing runs continue. That's right. Japan had an unconditional surrender. Germany had an unconditional surrender. That's right. Following World War II. Matt Morris, the only podcaster genuinely expressing himself. Thank you. You know, we keep it a little bit authentic here. I do think a lot of commentators, you know, everybody's got a different vibe. For me, we keep it authentic. We keep it natural. I think some people, they feel like they need to try to pretend to be something they're not. They try to pretend to be more professional or serious than they actually are. We keep it a little bit natural. It's all natural around here. Hey, we're just a bunch of friends covering the news. We are just a bunch of friends here monitoring the situation. We are just monitoring the situation. We have a couple Rumble rants. This is from Carrie Ann over in Rumble. Says, thank you for your great broadcasts. I've been watching since Saturday for the McDonald's or Stella's Fund. Yeah, you know, it might be.
Don't start talking about McDonald's now. I don't need to be heading over there after this stream.
Might be a good day for a Stella or two. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Oh, Carrie Ann. We have an update right now, just 2 seconds ago. Remember how we just said that the bombing runs are ongoing? Well, guess what? They are. Explosions have just been heard on the outskirts of Natanz in central Iran, according to Iranian media. Natanz. You might remember this name. Natanz. Where have I heard that before? 8 months ago, Natanz had a nuclear enrichment facility that was blown to high hell during Operation Midnight Hammer. That's where you've heard that name, Natanz. In fact, this is that facility right here. We blew the living hell out of this thing 8 months ago, and now, so Natanz is actually a city, though. There's the Natanz nuclear facility. In fact, you know what? If memory serves, wasn't Fordow up here in the hills right outside, or maybe not? No, maybe that was somewhere else. No, different location. Anyway, this is the Natanz nuclear facility. So there's bombing going on again in this area here today. And it says, look at this, nuclear power plant temporarily closed. Yeah, that is pretty much the understatement of a century. Natanz nuclear facility, it's a nuclear power plant, temporarily closed is what that says right there. I would say that this is actually permanently closed. I don't think this thing is opening back up anytime soon at all. Temporarily closed on Google Maps. I don't know why that's so funny. Anyway, this is Miss Mistero says, hello again, happy Friday. Thanks for keeping us informed. Enjoy Estella from Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Man,
It makes me wonder why they're, well, like I know why they're hitting the facility there, but is it operational still if they hit it last year? Like, is there more to it? Are they just making sure, giving it a round 2 and 3 to make sure that nothing is operational, period? That's kind of what I'm wondering. I want to know more about that stuff. We got a Fox News video here. Let's go through it.
U.S. officials are ramping up Operation Epic Fury, saying that the bombardment of Iran will, quote, surge dramatically. CENTCOM releasing new videos that you're looking at showcasing America's military might, adding that Iranian targets are being, quote, decimated. President Trump posting a new warning.
Well, we just got an update from open source intel.
What are you waiting for? The Ayatollah is dead. Like 300 of the top Iranian leaders have also been killed. Your bunkers are blown up. You're launching less than 10% of the ballistic missiles today that you were launching a week ago. You don't even have a navy anymore. You don't have an air force anymore.
All completely true.
The Azerbaijanis and the Kurds are about to invade your country. What are you waiting for? What's like what? I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for.
I mean, maybe they are waiting for a ground assault. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to draw everybody in for some bad reasons.
They're saying you haven't seen anything yet. Warning to the Americans and the Israelis, I guess. You haven't seen anything yet. What are you going to do? Start blowing up your own bunkers? You're going to blow up your own boats? What are you going to do next? Could be a dirty bomb. I hope not. Of course, you know, we're kind of making jokes here, but really I hope they don't do anything crazy. Maybe they are going to do something crazy.
Well, that's kind of what my thought process is. If they force people to launch ground assaults and then they just dirty bomb themselves, like, that's going to cause a lot of fatalities, obviously. Hopefully not. Hopefully, like I said earlier, the United States and Israel could just wipe the rest of them off the map and then that's it. But so far, I don't know. It feels like things are slowing down, or that they're hitting and have hit the most important things to power Iran and keep the regime in power. Then again, though, who knows? Who honestly knows?
They're going to release another AI-generated video.
Most likely.
We have 5 gifted community memberships over here on YouTube from
On True Social this morning, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. Iran will have a great future, he says. Make Iran great again, or MIGA, he puts in parentheses. The State Department says nearly 24,000.
I needed to hear that one twice. I thought you said something else there.
Leaders, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. I think he's sort of applying the Venezuela model here, where he had a say in who was going to be the next leader. He could have said to Delcy Rodriguez, you're out, Maria Corina Machado is in, but he didn't do that.
No, he didn't, John. And I think the lesson for President Trump, which, by the way, I think if he is successful, he will go down in history as the most consequential leader, not just in America, but for the world, because he will have put the genie of Islamic fundamentalism back in the bottle, which came out of the bottle in 1979. Now, going back to the question of succession, Iran's different from Venezuela. The long history of Iran, 2,500 years, suggests that today Iranians want normalcy, they want modernity. And the person who can offer that inside the country, there are individuals that the president can potentially talk to. The former president, for example, of Iran, Khatami, who's an educated gentleman. And from the outside, Reza Pahlavi, who is Western educated and could be a very good ally of President Trump in making sure that this transition happens in a stable manner.
It looks like the next Ayatollah, the next supreme leader, is going to be his son, Mujtaba. I mean, that would be bad. And I imagine that Israel's just waiting for him to pop his head above the tree line, and he'll be taken out too.
John, the last slogans on the streets of Tehran in Farsi were, Mujtaba, you will die, you will never see being a leader. I think the people of Iran are past that. They want regime change that gives them back their decency, their honor, and their economy. You know, this is an opportunity, John, for President Trump to capitalize on a $5 trillion opportunity that is just waiting to be captured.
So in order for there to be regime change, first of all, you got to get rid of the theocracy, which I guess would mean decapitating the rest of the Khatami family, as you said. But then you've got to convince the IRGC to lay down their weapons. President Trump has made that offer. You have to convince the besieged militia to do the same thing and throw in with the people and the idea of change. And the president has already offered amnesty to Iranian diplomats around the world. But that's a big sea change when you consider how invested the IRGC and the besieged are in maintaining their power and their power of repression, as opposed to saying, you know what, let's get rid of these guys, let's have a new dawn in Iran.
I think, John, if Mujtaba is knocked out by the Israelis, all bets are off.
Really?
Because the torch will have been handed to his son, who is now no longer. And
I don't think they have any jets. Let alone 1980s jets. They'd probably be happy to get some 1980s jets at this point.
Reopened. The USS Lincoln, thank you very much. So you know what might be the case? Is that the Ford might join up with the Lincoln, and we might reopen the Suez Canal one way or another. That might be the case here. This thing is getting opened up. And we're seeing the transition take place right now. That is probably the case now that we've really thought about all of this. That it's all about the Hormuz. We are blasting this straight open. Hold up there. Okay, thank you very much. You think it's about the Houthis? It could be about the Houthis in Yemen. I would bet that it's more about the Hormuz, but you're right, it could be about the Houthis. The Houthis, who, by the way, have remained very quiet. They have not been doing anything. Let's take a look at the Strait of Hormuz right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is all the maritime traffic in and out of the strait. And as you might notice, nobody's going in or out. Everybody's parked on the east side or the west side. These guys want in and these guys want out. And so it seems as if we are about to really make use of the U.S. Navy and force this thing back open. Seems like it's the case. Look at all of these boats. Look at this. All of these. Every dot, every arrow here is a vessel. Some people get mad if I say boat. They say, Matt, don't call it a boat. Okay, I'm sorry. You need to call it a maritime vessel. Okay, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a look at all these maritime vessels. They're not boats. They're not boats. They're maritime vessels. You can see all the shipping lanes out here. We're all going in the same place. Uh-huh.
People get mad over the weirdest shit, I swear to God. Don't call them boats. Call them maritime vessels. Whatever. Call them boats.
A lot more action in the Strait of Hormuz area. Don't you think so? I think so. That is where things are heading right now. This thing is getting reopened.
It's been pretty quiet. I don't know. Maybe a few strikes later tonight. I wonder if Israel has finished whatever they were accomplishing here in Lebanon and Beirut. I don't know. They were striking this area like clockwork yesterday. It was just every hour, boom, 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 boom. And during the 8 p.m. stream, it was like 4 or 5 strikes. It was crazy.
Friday after. Again, though, this is one of these things I feel like we would have seen a video or other reports. We've seen no other reports of this at all. keep in mind, man, like, where's our Suez? There's our Suez. All it would take is one random Egyptian person right here. All it would take is one Egyptian farmer, and there's a lot of them out here, to quickly take a photo of the aircraft carrier going through the Strait of Hormuz and post it on the internet, and then we'd have a photo. Haven't seen that. We've seen no photos. I'm shocked we have not, if this actually is the case, I'm shocked we have not seen a photo of this. Don't you think? Feel like we would have heard about this by now. We've seen nothing. It's a big old strait. And you can see boats going in, boats are going out. There's a boat going in. How astounding is this that we have access to this? We are just like random civilians in front of a computer, and we have access to this technology. We can zoom in on a boat. We can look at a guy scratching his butt on the deck of this boat. What a time to be alive. Seriously, though. What a time to be alive.
All right, let's cap off the stream with something a little different here, as we have closing arguments in Trump murder plot trial.
Hire a couple of criminals that will kill President Trump while he's at a political rally. This is what this guy looks like. He came here in 2024, 47 years old, facing federal terrorism charges, and investigators say he could spend the rest of his life in prison. So we're waiting to see exactly when the jury will get to deliberate here in the next couple of days. Merchant testified in his own federal trial, explaining that, you know, this is what he was told. He actually remade this drawing, saying that Iranian leadership gave him a plot like this, sketching it out. It kind of looks like a little kid drew it, but it shows exactly where the crowd would be at the rally. He says that arrow there is where Trump would have been on stage, and then shows the best spots to shoot President Trump at that political event. Merchant was arrested one day before Trump was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. Imagine that. And later told the feds he actually believes Iran could have been behind that attack in Butler because it was just so eerily similar to the plan that they gave him. So we're looking into that. Merchant says Iran still wants revenge for the 2020 killing of their top military leader, Qasem Soleimani. So this has been going on for years here, and threats continue because the U.S. just bombed Iran and took out its Ayatollah. So more threats continue here again on the homeland, according to the feds. Back out here live, Sandra, when this does get to the jury, they quite have a lot of evidence that they're going to look through, including the fact that this man gave, according to the feds, thousands of dollars in cash to 2 FBI agents who he thought were hitmen. So we're going to have to see what they decide and how long they'll be deliberating. Sandra.
Okay, we'll await more details from there. Alexis McAdams with that for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
John, I feel like it's Friday, right?
It is. Well, it was Friday last week, too, and look what happened. I thought it was interesting what Rob Sabani said, that Mojtaba Khatami might be the linchpin in all of this, that he is seen as the most logical successor to Khamenei, and that if he is taken out, did I say Khatami? Sorry, Mojtaba Khamenei. If he is taken out, maybe all bets are off and things change. So I'm sure that the president's looking at all options on that front.
And I'm sure we're going to get more updates as we head into the weekend from the White House. Good to have Caroline Levitt on the program today.
It sure was, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Sandra Smith.
All right, that's going to do it for the Fox side of things. Let's get a little ending here.
She says, for GPL1 to control weight, haha, take care. Oh, that's like Ozempic or something. True. Wow, true. I never thought about that. And we can buy it on Trump RX, 86% discount. I never even thought about that. Good reminder, Jodine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good reminder. John Burris, he says, I worked for CV968 between 68 and 75. I built CVN 7678 and DevCom, God Bless America, Navy ships. That's all.
All right, so that is going to do it for the 2 p.m. stream. I will try to be live again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2 p.m., 8 p.m. stream. That's kind of the thing going forward. We'll see what happens later tonight, though. By the look of it, oh, look at this. We got red alerts now. Out of nowhere.
I haven't seen something like this in quite a while. Okay, It's happening right now. It is happening right now. Like, big time, over the skies of Tel Aviv. If I were you, ladies and gentlemen, I would be paying attention in the top left to Cam 4 specifically, maybe Cam 3 as well over the Ben Gurion Airport, which is also at Tel Aviv. Cam 4, Cam 3 is where I'm going to be looking right now. There we go.
Well, I was just about to end the live stream, but shit is going on. We got sirens over Tel Aviv with a major strike coming.
We've got sirens here, folks. I just cranked up the volume on that.
Just when I was saying it seems like things are quieting down for the day. And it will be a quiet day. We have this.
In fact, there are even more warnings. There's even more. Another round of warnings just popped off now. This is not over. We are not done. Do not relax. It's not over. It's not over yet. Not over yet. Not over yet. I'm checking the mobile alerts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and it seems to be over. All of the all the red alert zones have gone blue over Tel Aviv and the surrounding areas. Seems like all of the ballistic missiles that were inbound have been intercepted. Now, something to keep in mind here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, there you have it.
I want to pull up our map here. Okay. All of the ballistic missiles that sometimes we see get intercepted over the skies of Israel, those missiles have already had to make their way through a series of other missile interception systems. There are missile interceptors located all throughout Iraq, Kuwait, Jordan, Qatar. So, you know, let's say, like, I'm just going to make these numbers very easy to prove the point and easy to understand. Let's say Iran launches 100 ballistic missiles. You know, if Kuwait and Iraq intercept 50 of them, missile interceptors over Jordan intercept another 25. You only have 25, 100 minus 50 minus 25. You only have 25 in total out of the initial 100 that make their way to Israel, and then we see those ones get intercepted sometimes. But there's a lot of interceptors all over the place, is what's going on. No, this is live here. This is live. Now, what I do have real quick, like I said, take a look at this. The U.S. Navy's Ford Carrier Strike Group has left the Mediterranean and is now headed into the Red Sea, heading closer to Iran and Yemen's Houthis. And we have Chinese satellite imagery. Allegedly, this is what we're looking at. Ni hao ma, she she. Ni hao ma.
We got some wild stuff going on right now. What the hell?
So anyway, reportedly, this is the Chinese satellite imagery confirmation. I'll tell you what, though. Of course, I'm gonna give you my speculation here, real quick, for whatever that's worth. I would suppose that this carrier strike group, carrier battle group, does not just hang out in the Red Sea. That it does not just hang out here. I would bet that it keeps on going, keeps on go all the way up here. And this is really a relocation pertaining to the Strait of Hormuz more than anything else.
All right, that's going to do it for the 2 p.m. stream. I will try to go live again at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for joining on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Adios, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
At this point, I'm doing a quick scan here.